Okay, I think I may have fixed this. I am unsure, guys. We had a slight technical difficulty. Yes, it is fixed now. I'm sorry about that, man. We had a technical difficulty. We getting this thing fixed. All right. So while we getting this sorted out, y'all, um, tonight we have a good guest. We got Chief Joseph Daughtry tonight, man. We lost the feed, so I gotta pull Zan and Jen back up so we can get going. So it's nothing wrong. Technology is technology, and
The
won't
Lord our God, He is
technology will
God.
fail you the first chance it gets.
And it would be on tonight, wouldn't it?
Out of all nights, but it was easy to throw the screen back up, so it wasn't that bad. Um, I was
Did you give
saying,
him the
man,
link?
yeah, I sent it over to Jen. I think Jen sending it over to him now. Um, tonight, we got Chief Joseph Daughtry tonight, but it's leading up to Easter weekend.
It is a weekend.
It's Easter weekend, and I'm still kind of unsure
It is
how
Holy Week. It is Holy Week. It's Holy Week.
that's a new word for it. I don't think I never called it Holy Week,
It's Holy
but
Week. That's what it is. I mean, I don't know how to. It's Holy
oh,
Week.
uh,
Yes.
yeah,
Tell
we're
your.
sending. Yeah, leave that studio. We Jen sending over a new link for you guys. Jen sending you a new link, and you'll be able to just use the same link the same way, and it'll put you right back in here. Um, okay, we see you, Chief. We got you in. We'll bring you up in a second. All right, so we back, y'all. I don't know what happened, Jen. Facebook was Facebook and kicked us all out. So as soon as I touched the button, it kicked us out of the studio.
Yeah, no worries. We in.
We're
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. So I was telling Zan we going into
Holy Week.
Easter Holy Week, as she calls it,
Hmm.
aka Easter weekend. Y'all may be more well read than me. Why do they keep moving Easter?
I don't know. It's kind of throwing me off this weekend.
I
It
thought
is
Easter
Week.
was in
because
like April.
it's normally in April. So, but yeah, let's get this show going, y'all. Let's get the show going. We'll keep
Okay. All right, we're gonna do announcements for the weekend, man. Jennifer, you got anything going?
I don't have anything going personally, but I do have some announcements for the city of Brookhaven, Mississippi. Um,
Let's get it.
you still have time if you're interested in egging your yard, doing decorations or getting some eggs for the children. Please contact. I'm sorry, Miss Tadasha Bryant. You can go to our Who's Truth page and get her information, and she has different packages, and you will not be disappointed with that. We have a couple community egg hunts starting on Saturday, March the 30th. Ward 6, Alderman Andre Spiller and family, they're going to be having an Easter egg hunt. It's going to include food, music, and fun. That's going to be hosted at the City Park at Lipsy. I didn't give that address for those of you who are not from Brookhaven. It's at 365 Hartman Street in Brookhaven, Mississippi. And please remember, that's for children 12 and under. It's going to start at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Then on the very next day, we have Consistency Beyond Limitation. They're also going to be giving a community Easter egg hunt. That's Sunday, March 31st, 2024 at 3 p.m. at the same park, Lipsy Park. We're going to go on. I just want you guys to remember the highlights, the things that are going on in Brookhaven. We have May Day Fun Day. That's a collaboration with Consistency Beyond Limitation and Blooming Buds. That's going to be held May 25th, 2024 at the Moria Baseball Field. That's 414 Drury Lane next to Lipsy School. Then you have the Dr. A.L. Lott Summer Sports Baseball and Softball registration Saturday, March 23rd. What's the day?
It's passed.
It's passed. I'm
Okay.
sorry, y'all. That was last week. So those are all of our community announcements. I hope
Straight
y'all were
up.
able to get the kids out there to sign up. If not, please contact Terrence and Cynthia Dixon, Chancey Armstrong. They can help you register your children. Let's please get these kids active. I also want to highlight, listen, we're going to send out a flyer and a reel. April, we are loaded, and I'm so excited. April the 2nd, we have it's counselors month. So we have a lot of counselors coming on. April 2nd, Alexia Urban will be with us. April 9th, Dr. Samantha Murphy. April 16th, LaQuanta Nicole, the boss educator. I am so ready for all these. We have April 23rd, Pastor Mickey King. And then April 30th, Dale Gray. She's an author and food stylist. She'll close us out with some treats and delights. So join us. Don't miss. And if you can always catch the replay. So happy Tuesday again. And we're glad to be here. Tonight, we have with us Chief Joseph Daughtry from Columbus, Mississippi. So we'll bring him in.
All right, let's get going.
And as they say in church, govern yourself according to the announcements.
Yeah, look, you don't need to get crazy. You got the police on tonight. Don't get crazy tonight.
Yeah. Welcome, Chief Daughtry. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so happy to have you with us on Who's Truth tonight, and we will not delay. I'll let Jarvis just jump on in. Xandra, is there anything you want to say?
Let's go. I'm ready. I'm pumped. It's let's not
Yeah,
belabor the time. Let's go.
How's my sound? Can y'all hear me?
You're good.
We
you
can hear you.
fantastic, bro. You
Okay,
good
because
to
I
go.
lost my speakers in here. I'm good. Okay.
No
Okay.
worries.
Since we got caught that little hiccup at the first, like Jen said, we're gonna kind of jump straight in. Um, One of the main things that people have been seeing, man, we read some of your clippings and things like that online, kind of trying to do a little homework. And I think we saw that you've collected 44 weapons off the streets
hmm
since the beginning of the year. So as little as 3 months. So that's what 11, 12 guns a month, probably more than that per month. How did that program happen, or was it through confiscation? Kind of how did that work? Help us understand that a little bit.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it. I'm humbled by this opportunity. But I want you to know, I know you said but really it's the men and women of this department that are really getting out there doing their thing. I have what you call a Viper unit, which stands for Violent Immediate Police Emergency Response Unit.
Mm.
And those guys get out and they have been targeting troubled areas. I know you don't like to use the word targeting, but when I get calls from senior citizens because they can't sleep because of gunfire and different things, we got to hit that area. We got to do what we can to give them some type of relief. Now, we have 44, but we had more guns than that. So a lot of them have been sent to the crime lab. That was only what we were able to show at that particular time that we had with us. So we probably had closer to 60 weapons.
Wow.
That's a
So
lot.
when you confiscate these guns off the street, what are you doing when it comes to youth? Because that's what we see a lot now. You got underage kids holding guns.
Mhm.
So especially when it comes to rifles versus handguns, is it any distinguishing between you guys? Like, how do you guys kind of go about that, dealing with the youth and carrying guns, so to speak?
Well, I think it's a generational thing right now. So many of our young people are not used to handling conflict without violence. And a lot of these young people feel that if I have a weapon, it makes me more of a man, or it makes me gives me more clout in the community. We are taking weapons off of 15, 16, 17-year olds. We're taking weapons off of 20-year olds and some older. But that age between 16 and 20, where they're not supposed to have guns, handguns, we do see a big rise in those people carrying handguns.
Yes, sir. We got Jerry Kelly on tonight. He's another law enforcement officer. Jerry says, Chief Brother.
Yeah,
Jerry was also a former pastor.
that's my little brother,
Chief of
Jerry.
police.
He's a, right. So I have a question. I know we were talking about guns, or so. how does the registration go for guns in Mississippi? I know there's a whole rigorous um, um, way that we do it here in the Washington. So how is it that what's the process of that of getting a gun, purchasing a gun and all that? How Tell me the process if you don't mind.
Sure. In the state of Mississippi, you can go and purchase a weapon. Uh, Basically, you go to a gun shop and you fill out a ATF form to purchase it,
Mhm.
and you're able to purchase it. If you're under the age of 21, you can have a shotgun, long gun, rifle at the age of 18. From 18 to 21. Once you make 21, you're eligible to purchase a handgun. So that is how you can purchase a gun. Unfortunately, the state of Mississippi doesn't have any way that we register weapons. So a lot of times when
Mm.
weapons are stolen and we recover these weapons off of these youngsters, we don't have a way of knowing until we do a trace form to find out who the weapon is for, because we don't have a database that tells us that Jennifer bought this weapon back in 2018. We don't have a database to show us that.
Okay, so there's also no background check or anything going on like that. Like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
so
The
there's
ATF
okay.
does a background check, but you got a lot of people are trying to beat the system, and how they're beating the system is what they do is they get their girlfriend to buy the gun for them. If you ever go to a gun show and watch, and you walk around a gun show, you'll see a guy following, a girl following, and he'll point out what he wants, and she will buy him in her name. So that's
Mm.
how some of these young people are getting them. But a lot of the guns that we're getting off the streets are getting from what we call bumping. And what I call, and bumping is a way of stealing. Basically, what they do, they go into a neighborhood and somebody will drop them off on one corner. The car go to the other corner. They'll walk the neighborhood, pull on door handles. If the door handle comes open, they go in and they rummage through it and they get what they can get. And if it's locked, they keep on moving to the next one.
Mm.
And what happens is when somebody comes out to let the dog out or hear a noise or whatever, that person takes off running to enter the block. His ride's already there. They jump in and they go. And you probably
Mm.
never get a chance to really see the car. A lot of the guns that we're getting are stolen guns. A lot of people have to learn to, if you go home, bring your gun inside your house. Don't leave your gun on the front seat. Don't leave your gun in between the seat and the shifting column. A lot of people leave weapons in the car, and that is what the criminal element looks for.
Mm.
Crimes of
Okay.
opportunity, as they call it.
That's true. A true definition of crime is opportunity. We'll never eliminate crime, but we can reduce the opportunity by educating the community.
And
That's right.
see, oddly enough, in Jennifer, we got a kid in our neighborhood that's doing that, running around flipping door latches. The problem is the young man's underage. He gets picked up. It's not a violent crime. They take him to uh, a youth detention place, and you can maybe attest to this, and this will lead up to the next question. How are you guys working with youth court to maybe get these people housed somewhere? Because on our end down this way, youth detention centers are packed. And so they're right back on the street very soon. Is it some type of way you guys are able to follow up, kind of regulate it, kind of what's going on in y'all neck of the woods to kind of help out with it?
Well, we have an excellent relationship with our youth court judge. And one thing that I try to do, if we have a violent offender that is using a weapon, and if they think they're that grown, then I treat them like they're grown. If you're out
Mm.
here shooting people, hurting people, then they have, majority of the time, they have a history. And then we try to get them tried as an adult based on the crime or whatever crime they commit. If you commit murder or aggravated assault with a gun, then we hold them accountable and we try to treat them as an adult.
Right. Yeah, right. Because you can only be charged as an adult if you commit a crime with a weapon. Am I correct?
Correct.
Right. And from there you have a sight and sound hearing where you cannot be housed with adults.
Correct.
When youth commits crimes, they cannot be housed with adults because they say adults may have some influence on them without this hearing that can't happen. So yeah, you're right. Having a relationship with the youth court, with the judges would probably be key in that area to make that thing go smooth. Um, So this is the next question, and I'm going down the road. We probably got some questions in the comments. I've
We're
seen
good.
some.
We're good. We're good in the
Okay, we
comments. I mean,
good. Oh,
we have comments, no questions. And so, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to ask any questions, and we make sure we'll get them in the catch them in the
yeah,
comments. So I'm
Mrs. Dale, she popped up. She said our young people need to be taught to regulate their
regulate their
emotions instead of
emotions.
running to anger, frustration, and crime. That's true. It's a lot of these kids probably need therapy, need some type of. I don't know if they outlaw boot camps, but they probably need to bring them back as far as I'm concerned, because it's a lot of kids that just need that swift
Well,
kick in the you know what, if you ask me.
now the name of the show is Who's Truth, right?
Go
Yeah, yeah,
for it.
yeah.
All right, so we gonna keep it real. Okay, I'm not a
Real.
politician, so I'm not that polished. So sometimes what comes up is gonna come out. First of all, these parents got to stop trying to be these children's friend. They need to
Ooh.
be their parent. Okay, but we have a lot of parents that are upholding their children with their wrongdoing. And what I mean by that is these children are committing crimes. The parent knows it, but you know what makes it hard for the parent? The fact that that child is giving the parent $1,000 a week, $1,500
Right.
a week, and
Right.
paying bills. So of course, mama's gonna turn the eye. You know, I mean, every mother loves their child, but when your child is doing wrong, you can't uphold his wrongdoing. And I think that that's one of the problems that we're having. And at some point, I'm a father. I'm not a perfect father, but I'm a father. I've done the best that I can. When I became a father, I didn't get a book that taught me how to be a dad. It was on the job training. So I made mistakes. At the end of the day, we're going to have to come up with this society. We don't have big mamas anymore. Okay.
Mhm.
We're going to have to come up with some type of parenting classes to teach these young people how to be parents. Now, they're not going to give them the blueprint on how to be the perfect parent, but they can give them some type of leadership guidance, because the guidance they have is social media, and
Right.
that's not working.
And that's a rabbit hole in itself. So
Listen,
so we had Dante. He
yeah.
wants to know, did you say that we don't have a system to track who purchased the weapon? Was that what you're saying, or was you saying that we don't have a system to track after the purchase?
We don't register it. Weapon purchases are tracked through ATF. They track them all throughout the country. We don't have a registration process here in the state of Mississippi. I'll give you an example. When I bought a gun in New Orleans, when I lived in New Orleans, I had to go to the sheriff's office or the police department with my bill of sale and register that weapon. So if I got pulled over and the gun was in my car, they could run the serial number and it would tell me if it's registered to me. We
Mhm.
don't have that luxury here. I'm not sure what they have in other states, but I know Louisiana, that's one thing that they have.
They have it here in
Gotcha.
Washington. They have it here in Washington. I like what you said, Chief. I love what you said um, about the parenting because and you're hitting something that me and my cousin that's going to be on next week have talked about. So you kind of leading up to what she, what her passion is, and that's we don't have the old times like we when we grew up, we didn't have big mamas, beating us, or auntie down the street that really was not auntie beating us up because we were doing something bad. So we don't have those programs in place to target their emotions. They don't know how to handle their emotions. They don't know how to um what is it called? So they're incapable of social skills, shall I say.
Yeah.
They don't know how to
Well,
cope. They don't know how
I
to
mean, if
cope.
you think about this, we're quick to blame the schools.
Not school fault.
Okay. We blame the school. The school ain't got nothing for our kids to do. They got athletics, they got sports, they have band, they have after school activities. Okay. Then they say the churches aren't doing their part. Okay. You have Bible school, you have vacation Bible class, you have stuff that they do with these children. But at the end of the day, if you look at the main component, you go to school, then where you go when you leave school? You go home.
Home.
When you go to church, after you leave church events, where do you go? You go
Home.
home. So a lot of the common denominator, it starts at home. If a lot of this stuff is not reinforced at home, we're going to have problems. Now, don't get me wrong. You have some parents who are doing their very best
Right.
They're working 2 and 3 jobs trying to provide, and some of their children are just knuckleheads. No matter how much they try, those kids they have no respect, and they're driving their poor mothers. I've seen mothers come to my office in tears about things, and not just here. When I was in Natchez, I had parents that used to come and do the same thing and just talk about what are they doing wrong. And a lot of it, some of these children are making bad decisions, and I'm not sure where they're getting their guidance from.
Well, we had a comment in that's a big deal. This is something we can probably get your opinion on. It says the parents need to take accountability for their part in the matter. Um, is it some type of program you guys have there that holds parents accountable, or how much do you think you can even hold a parent accountable for a kid's action?
Well, I think when children are sneaking out the house 2 and 3 in the morning committing crimes, I think you ought to be able to hold a parent accountable. Why? Because as a parent, you need to know where your children are. Okay,
At
you
all
have to
times.
have some type of accountability. Now, where I hold parents accountable, when I come looking for your son or your daughter, and you say, "Oh, they're not here," and we find out they are there, then we have a problem because you're upholding the wrongdoing. We've had parents take evidence from a crime scene and try to hide it, and when they try to hide it, that's when we deal with the parent, and the parent's charged with tampering with evidence. And I get it. I love my children. My children have done some knucklehead things. I love mine. I do anything for them. But at the end of the day, we got to hold these kids accountable. I told Jennifer this, and when I talk to kids and grown-ups around about different things we're dealing with in our community, there's an African proverb that sticks out with me. And when I first heard it, it took my breath away. There's an African proverb that says, "A child that is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth."
Wow, that's deep.
And if you
That's
think
deep.
about it, what are our children doing right now? They're burning
Burning it
down
down.
their village. They're killing each other. They're stealing from each other because they're not embraced. They're not given some opportunities. You know, some of these kids make mistakes. Because they make a mistake, do they need to go to jail and have these records and get caught up in the system? No. Sometimes, and I made agreements with my football coaches, every city I've worked. If I catch one of your kids and he doing something knucklehead, I'm gonna call the coach. That the coach come get him at 2 in the morning, and the coach gonna run his guts out. Now, if he do something criminal where he hurts somebody or something really serious, then we gotta let the chips fall where they may. But we gotta give these kids another chance to correct their wrong.
So we
We
have a
got
question.
yeah, the comments is on fire tonight,
I
man.
know. So we
Uh,
have a question from Andre Spiller. He said, "What can the board of aldermen do to help the police department? What would be your suggestion?"
To be honest with you, and we're gonna keep it 100. Get out the
Okay,
way.
100. Cool.
Get out the way. A lot of times when a police chief is the chief and he's trying to do his job, I'm thankful. Where I am right now, my board does not get involved in police business. You know, they get involved with concerns of their community, and they bring them to me, and I have to address them. But you have a lot of small chiefs who are trying, small town chiefs who board are trying to regulate and tell the police chief how to police. You know, you can't tell them who to arrest and who not to arrest. I mean, you don't know the law. Now, the other way the council can support is to give the department their needs. And I'm not here to brag about the city of Columbus by no means. I'm not trying to make it seem like we're the best, everybody else is the worst. But I've been chief here a year and some over a year and 3-4 months now. Every piece of equipment that we need to bring us into the modern technology, from computers in the cars, from uniforms, my board has been gracious. As long as I can justify why we need them, they will help us and find a way for us to get them. Today,
so
my officers had an opportunity to get fitted for new uniforms. If you'd have saw their faces, they're getting new uniforms. They were turning to each other. "How do I look? I look good." I said, "No, you're still ugly." But they just they feel pride about themselves, and when they look better, they're gonna do better.
So
When
I
you,
guess
huh?
I guess from what I think he was trying to clarify the question. He says not the business side of it, but how can they support? I guess support. How can you support your chief of police? I guess when he is looking for something to do, and after that, Officer Reggie Kane wanted to know any recommendations that need to be in place to build relationships with the community, parents, children, things like that. So we got a one part and a two part.
How they can help is give the department what they need. Anytime, first of all, when a lot of businesses come to a community for economic development, there's two things they look for. They look at school ratings and they look at crime stats. Okay. If your school ratings are low and your crime stats are out the roof, businesses are not going to come. But you have to, if you go across the state, I challenge you guys to go across the state and look at different cities who have invested in their law enforcement and see how well they are prospering because they're investing in law enforcement. That's one way that the board can help, and also help in passing city ordinances that can help the police officers do their job. There are certain city ordinances that can be passed that can help. Uh, and to be supportive. I know that a lot of them are in elected positions, but to be supportive of your police department, because at the end of the day, out of all your departments in the city, this is one department that when these officers go in service, they don't know if they're going home. They might not make it home. They're giving their all for people who don't like them or people who talk about them and all the other, a lot of different other things. And you asked about programs that you can do. As a chief, you got to get out the office. You can't stay in the office. You got to get out there and learn your community. You got to stop at the barbershops. You got to stop and talk to the men under the tree drinking their beer. They're going to be trying to put it up and stuff. And you tell them, hey, I just came here to sit down and have a conversation with you. I've done it before. Hey, listen, now you guys drinking. You see uh, all this stuff you got down here. I don't want to come back here again and all these bottles and cans all over. If y'all gonna sit out here, I need y'all to clean it up. And a lot of times you go to them and they'll clean that kind of stuff up, but then they also tell you what's going on. You have programs like Beverly said, Big Brother, Big Sister program can help the community. I'm a product of Big Brother, Big Sister. My big brother was the first interracial big brother, little brother match to ever make it in the state of Louisiana. And me and my big brother today are still the best of friends. He's a very successful attorney in Alexandria, Louisiana, named Tommy Walder. I mean, we have been together since I was 11. Okay. Other programs that you can do as a police department, you can do Citizens Police Academy. That works very well. And you probably say, well, what does that consist of? It doesn't cost a lot. You can bring members of the community in 25 to 30 at a time, have a conversation with them throughout a week's period, and teach them the inner workings of the police department. And you start from 911. What happens when you dial 911? What the police officer does when they come? What happens from there? What happens when investigation comes? What happens when you go to court? How do you pay a ticket? All that stuff. So you go through and explaining it to them, and then they'll understand why it takes 7 minutes for somebody to come when you dial 911. A lot of people don't understand that. And the other thing that the police department can do is hold community people accountable. Get your Masonic orders together. Get your fraternities, your sororities, get them to come out and help you. In Columbus, I'm using the biker community. There's a bike club here called Street Jumpers. They're helping me Saturday with a bike blessing. We're bringing a bike blessing to the police department, and we're doing a bike blessing and we're doing a ride. Now, after we do the bike blessing and a ride during the summertime, Street Jumpers is already committed that we're going to go in the hood and play kickball with the cops, and they're going to provide food, for us. They're going to feed the kids. They're going to cook the hamburgers and hot dogs for the kids. So you got to get everybody to be a part of it.
I have to jump in. Y'all had me quiet all night. This is good. But Chief,
First,
yeah, but Chief, I have to say this to you. you're cut different.
Mhm.
You're a different breed. And I honor you. You've had you have a lot of experience. You've been Natchez chief of police. You've been with the Pelahatchie. You've been JPD, Hines County. Man, you have New Orleans PD. You have so much experience, and I think most of us, a lot of our followers are from the city of Brookhaven, and so many things that you've said that are so profound. You got to get in the community. You're going to have to get out the office. When we talk about the Board of Aldermen, I know you said stay out of the business, but I think what happens, Chief, is that a lot of times our elected officials, appointed officials, they're not getting in the community. And so it makes it makes the alderman, the board, get into the business because let me tell you something. Let me just say it like this, keep it going. We don't have a whole lot of Joseph Daughtry, okay? And so I'm just happy to know that the that the city of Columbus have you, man. And, we all need that. But I want you to go back because some of the issues I want to talk about the city of Brookhaven, like that's my focus right now. How are you solving crimes? Because I've seen you where you went into Natchez and, man, you turned things around and those people were crying when you left. Look, y'all, I'm a witness of this, right? I've seen you be in Columbus for 1 year, and you've just made the whole trajectory of the police department and the community has changed. And I do know one thing: you're getting in there, you're building a rapport, you're friendly, you're approachable, you're tangible. They can call. You make yourself welcoming to the people, but you make yourself available. But tell us some other things. I guess I'm saying it all, man. I just want the people to hear from you. You got your boots on the ground. You're not sitting up in Popeyes eating all the chicken or whatever. You out there. You out there doing what you need to do. So how can we solve one of the biggest things in the city of Brookhaven? We have not been able to solve crimes. Give us some solutions. I know you can't answer all the questions, but give us some advice. How can we better do that?
Well, one problem that a lot of agencies, and I'm sure the city of Brookhaven is falling in the same realm, is the fact that you don't have the community involvement as far as right now. If they call it snitching, but I seen an agency out of Georgia that had a hashtag, and I'm stealing it. I don't know if they got a copyright to it or not. It says tipping ain't snitching. Okay, telling tips, because here's the thing about it. As a police officer, it's frustrating to go to a burglary call and nobody knows. You got everybody outside, but nobody saw nothing.
Mhm.
We ask for community involvement, but they don't say nothing. But then a week or so later, when they break in the next person's house, now they mad with everybody else because nobody said anything. We have got to break that mindset up, but also we got to get their trust. You got so many people that used to call the police department and tell, they say, Zan got loud music playing. That's all she do is play loud music all day. And she dialed 911, and then the officer go to the house and say, well, Zan calling again, saying that you playing loud music. That creates problems. So that's going to make Zan not want to call again. So we got to find a way to build.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just saw a comment and Dale hit kind of the nail right on the head, man. I think sometimes, and maybe you can elaborate a little bit better than I can. Some people think crime is stationary and not transient, which means it happened in their neighborhood, so it ain't a problem. And the crime ain't following the money, because it's only so long you can kind of steal from poor people amongst themselves. Right. So now we got a divided community, because for a while it wasn't their problem, but now it's everybody's problem.
Right.
How do you kind of deal with that in Columbus? Because most Mississippi towns are kind of similar. That's the only way I know how to see it.
Well, you got to, as law enforcement, you can't police one side of town one way and the other side of town the other way. Okay, you get, and I stand on that. I'm not going to do for one community, I'm not going to do for the other community. if we run checkpoints in our low income community, we run checkpoints in our high income communities. If we go into the club settings at night and do walkthroughs, we walk through all clubs, black clubs, the white clubs, Hispanic clubs, anybody club. We gonna walk in. We
And
gotta
they ain't
be.
ran you out of town yet?
Oh no,
Man, what is you talking about? Go ahead.
because because when you come and tell you why, when you go in and you approach them, a lot of times, I've had people tell me, I ain't never seen the chief walk in here.
And it ain't what you say, Chief, it's how you say it. That's why I say he's very approachable. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got to be able to walk in and talk to people. You got to be involved in the community. The late great Mayor Lumumba,
Yes, Pastor.
not Chuck Way, but his father, when he was the mayor of Jackson, he said something that really gut checked me. He said, "If you don't love the people, you'll betray the people," and that made so much sense to me. I'm not going to love, everybody's not going to like me. Everybody's not going to like my style of policing. I get that. But as long as I'm fair and consistent, everything else is going to work itself out. You got to walk up and talk to these people. I go inside beauty shops and sit down and talk to the ladies, and you hear their concerns, how they're fearful of going to the ATM, going to get they're scared to order DoorDash. They're scared, when you talk to them, they'll tell you their concerns about their children. I have a son that's 12 and I'm worried about him because of this, this, and this. You got to get out and start going and talking to people. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing that works for me. In the morning, I pick different restaurants here because, the older people get up and have coffee about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. You go and sit down with them. They're going to tell you so much, not only about the history of your city, but they're going to tell you what's going on. And just
They know everything.
And like Lakeith just said, community policing is one of the best ways of solving crime because you got to make them feel a part of it without putting them in danger. So many people don't want to get involved because they're put in danger.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's why you think about it, Crime Stoppers say, I don't need your name, I just need your information. That's all you need. So when you call Crime Stoppers, you tell them your information, they give you a code. Once that crime is solved, you call back with that code and you get your money. So we don't know your name.
Right.
That is how Crime Stoppers has been so successful.
No, I'm just reading some of the comments. Pastor Joyner, and I remember that he used to do the DARE program. Pastor, I remember that when I was a police officer, we were involved in the community. We got out of the cars. We talked, we laughed, we cried, we prayed with the people. There were no strangers. Pat Henderson, I know people didn't like Chief because he was stern and he meant what he said. But if you got to know him, I call him a gentle giant. He cared about the community. I remember James Earl Howard, Michael, different police. They did Chief Bobby Bell at that. Well, when they were walking the streets, when he was a patrolman, things were different. But now, as Pastor Jordan said, I have to be honest. I don't know half of the police in Brookhaven anymore. And we're right there at the funeral home. There, we have a Michael Harvey, Officer Harvey. He gets out and he'll speak to us, but most of them are so standoffish. It's like, and then the children. And then I think another thing, a part two to that, we tell our kids we make the police a bad thing.
Right.
I have a 5-year-old that I'm rearing, and it's like, I ain't gonna call the police, but then I put him in the car with Officer Michael. I said, listen, you may need all police are not bad. People do bad things, but police are not bad. So I think the stigma and what we're putting into our kids' head, bump the police and all of that, it's just our community is messed up. It's just a jacked up situation.
One thing that I hate, and I know hate is a hard word, but I hate to walk into Walmart
and kids run from you.
And somebody tell a child, look, there go the police, he gonna put you in jail. That's not what you tell them. And if the child is not listening, telling the child, I'm gonna put him in jail is not gonna help them. You need to be a parent. You need to chastise your children. But because when I was a kid growing up in New Orleans, we had Officer Friendly. We used to go to a drugstore called K&B to get ice cream. He worked at K&B. We would go in K&B in New Orleans. He would let you play with his nightstick. He'd give you his handcuffs and you play with him. He'd walk out to his car, turn the lights on, let you say crazy things on the PA. And it just made you feel cool. You know, and every time I saw police, I wondered if it was him. Well, that's what I'm trying to teach my people here. I'm trying, because here's the thing, what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build leaders at this department. You know, I'm an old head. You know, I got 29 years in the game. So, you know, I don't know how much longer the Lord gonna, as long as he bless me, I'm gonna keep doing it. But at some point I'm gonna have to go. But what do I do if I don't take the time to teach these younger officers the things about what I know? If I don't take the time to teach them community policing, if I don't take the time to teach them things about budgeting, if I don't take the time to teach them about how to put a strategic plan together, you know, you got to challenge their minds and give them the opportunity to do these things. When I was at Hinds County, prior to my all career, I came up as a running gun police officer. I was running and gunning, locking folks up, jumping fences back in the day when I was young and, young. But
now your knee hurt. Now your knee hurt a little bit. Now your knee hurt a little bit.
Yeah, my knee hurt a little bit. But Sheriff Tyrone Lewis sent me to a school in Louisville, Kentucky called Crime Prevention. I became a certified crime prevention specialist. And when I went to that class, I thought I knew everything there was to know about policing. The problem that you're having in Brookhaven, the problem that other cities are having, if you put if you build a 500-bed jail, you can probably fill it up, but are you solving the problem? We got to learn how to educate these folks on different things. And you also got to give these kids an out. Our kids have no hope right now. Because you got people telling them, your daddy wasn't nothing, you ain't gonna be nothing. You know, and when you speaking these things into existence with these children are believing that. You know, mama, think about it now. I want y'all to think about our era. When we came up, a lot of our grandparents didn't go to college, but they made sure that we went.
Sacrifice.
You got parents nowadays who don't even push for their children to get a driver's license.
That's right. That's right.
You know, I mean, just think about it.
Man, look, Robert, he's dropping some heat in these comments. Pastor Larry Joyner.
And they're going so fast.
And I think it was Pastor Larry Joyner that said that. Pastor, if that was you, I want you to help me. I think Pastor Larry Joyner said at a funeral one time, he said, the father that was murdered or that had to sacrifice to go to school, his son was then able, or the father that walked to school, his son was able to drive to school, and his son won't even go to school. And man, when he said it, I said, that is deep. The father that had to walk to school will have a child, and his child would soon drive to school, and then his child won't even go to school. And then history is repeating itself. But Chief, I want you to talk about the investment, because when you said that Tyrone sent you to Louisville, and I said that in a town hall meeting, that we have to teach our officers about culture diversity. Just like me, I'm talking with my hands. I get loud sometimes. My husband has to tell me, well, can you calm down? Well, that's how I'm very gesturous, and I talk and I move, but it doesn't mean I have an attitude. And if you have a person that comes from a very soft-spoken family, and they come and we talking loud, then you think it's chaotic, you think it's troublesome, and that doesn't mean that. But if you get in some courses and you learn about the different cultures and how the different the gestures and the language and the lingo that's going on in these communities, I think it can help us better police. Because I've seen where police come in and now they grabbing because why? You said it. They don't know if they're not going to make it home. And so many things are happening. And you do have people that would try to, because we're putting these things in our children, now they want to pop off at the cops. So how do we, man, this is a lot tonight. And I every time I talk, I say so much, but we need help. We need Jesus. but
I'm going to say this. Jennifer, and I want everybody to hear me. it's not just
Investment. That's what I was going.
it's not just a Columbus problem. It's not just a Brookhaven problem.
Right.
It's not just a Jackson problem.
It's universal.
This is something that we're dealing with this generation. You know, uh, also beat off. That's Lakeith. Lakeith and I go all the way back to Orleans Parish. We used to work together for years. He's a DUI instructor. He's also a firearms instructor. He has a passion for DUIs because he don't want kids to get killed by DUIs. So he has a passion for it.
Man, look,
If you only knew
we
how
have to get Lakeith on here too, man. Any of these other officers, man, if y'all want to come on, this is all needed because it's education for our people. You see
well,
what
let
I'm
me tell
saying?
you, Robert Arrington is the fire chief in Natchez.
Man,
That's
come
my
on
little
with
brother.
it.
You
Come
know,
on
and,
with it.
you know, and,
We're
he,
gonna
and
write
he's
all
on there. You know, Reggie Kane, he's on the executive board of the Chiefs Association. I'm the past president of the Mississippi Chiefs Association. You know, so we have relationships. We're leaning on each other. We're trying to get stuff together. But we got to make sure that these officers understand that this is not a job. This is a career.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between a job and a career. People take a job just to pay bills. You take a career to make a difference. You know, Travell Dixon, he's the chief of the reservoir. He's the first ever African-American chief to be a chief at the reservoir. And he's
Talking
only in
about
his
Ross Barnett?
Don't
yes.
say Ross Barnett. We don't call it that. We just call it the reservoir. Ross
Well, I'm
Barnett
just
was a
trying. Listen, I'm trying to make sure I'm getting the right reservoir again.
That's the
Ross
right
Barnett
reservoir.
was a notorious racist.
He's a young man in his 30s. He's already graduated from the FBI National
Oh
Academy.
man, come on,
You know,
bring him
Kudos.
on, man.
I call him my little brother. I'm proud of him. You know, we lean and we bounce off each other. And you know that's right. That's my better half, y'all. She said we can't
Yeah.
ever give up on our kids.
And you're absolutely right, Lillian. We don't want to give up on our kids. That's why even now we're trying to host things. But as Chief Daughtry has said, we need the parents' involvement. But another thing, kids are having kids. They're having 15-year-olds are having babies, and they're still trying to grow up. So it's
a lot.
we won't give up. We won't give up. That's why we're going to keep having people like Chief Daughtry to give us some good solutions and strategic things that we can do to implement to help. Training is so important to officers. It is, Pastor.
Is there?
Was Pastor Joyner a police officer before?
Yes, sir. He was over the DARE program. Pastor was out there. Listen,
let me tell you,
and you respect him.
We waiting on Pastor too. He need to know. I'm gonna say it while you're on here. We waiting on you, bro. So whenever you're ready to take the invitation, we waiting on you. We booked up to next month, but you can come after that. Whenever you pick a date, it's on, baby.
You know how we do training because Mississippi's minimum standards requires that police officers do 24 hours of continuous educational training. So we're doing a lot of in-house training. We have an instructor on our staff who teaches a de-escalation tactic. So we're going to start teaching de-escalation. But what I'm doing, because we are considered a big fish, this big department, you got a lot of smaller departments around here who can't afford to send their folks to the coast. They can't afford to
let's
send
talk
their
about
folks
that.
to Jackson. You know, they don't have the budget for that kind of stuff. So when we have training, we send our email out. We're doing it in-house anyway. We let them bring their folks in and let them come in. And we train other people, you know.
So you mean to tell me we can send some Brookhaven officers to Columbus when you're having in-house training and you will train them?
Absolutely.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Artemis Filler.
I know we recently had somebody come in and do practices after the grand jury report, and that was a whole nother thing. But they just adopted, the city just adopted some new practices going forward. We might have to have another round to get back into what that is, but we just had a lot of stuff come into play where they got to go through certain trainings, like you're talking about. They got to go through certain rules and regulations, certain background checks to make sure they hadn't had any trouble in any other departments and all that. I think the city of Brookhaven just recently passed it.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna say this, and I want it to be known. I'm not here to bash the city of Brookhaven. You know, I have
No, no,
friends
no,
that work
no.
for the
No, no,
Brookhaven.
we're not either. We're concerned, and that's why we're
Right.
asking for help because I know your success. So we're not bashing Brookhaven, we're not bashing the chief, we're not bashing anybody. We're saying, Chief Daughtry, can you drop some nuggets tonight? So somebody will watch this and get it to the appropriate person, and maybe Chief Daughtry can come on down here to Brookhaven and help us.
Train.
And I'm
And
gonna tell you
share,
another
yeah,
thing.
share.
My mother is a senior citizen in Brookhaven, my aunt, and I need help. You understand what I'm saying? I'm all over the world now. I need consistency. So whatever we got to do, we're not trying to be out of order. Please understand, because that's not what Whose Truth is about. But we brought you on because, again, I know your track record I know your track record. And I've seen you go into places like Natchez, Mississippi and turn it around. I've seen people walk up to you and hug you and cry. I've seen this personally. And so this is not a bashing, but this is a cry for help.
Right.
And when people cry, hurt people might sound like they want to hurt somebody, but that's not what we're trying to do. We
Well,
really
like
asking for help.
The AG's office offer domestic violence training. The AG's
Thank
office,
you, Dixon. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
the AG's office offers domestic violence training. They also offer human trafficking training. There's different types of training that's available. I know Malota, which is a state academy, they have a lot of training that's there. Malota's in Pearl. I know the Jackson Police Training Academy has training, but sometimes you got to get online and you got to send some folks out to different places to be instructors. You know, the days of just sending people to training so they could pad their resumes, you go send somebody off to be an instructor in this, and they don't come back and teach your department, you're wasting your money. You got to take these people and tell them, listen, I'm going to send you to this class, but you're going to have to come back and teach this department and other departments around here to help us. You know, and that's the mindset that I have. You know,
So you saying if I'm gonna send you off, and learn ninjutsu or whatever, your hand to hand combat, you're gonna need to be able to come back and teach our other officers how to interact in hand to hand combat, conflict resolution, any of these things like that. So that's what you see. And like Jen said, sometimes people think you're trying to beat up on somebody, but what happens is you come in contact with people that do a job very, very well. But then you come back in contact with people that don't do it so well, and you have questions. And when you start to ask too many questions, it feels like an attack. And it's not necessarily an attack, but
Right.
if I go to your one restaurant and you cook me a steak and it's fantastic, and I go to another restaurant and it's all right, I'm gonna say, well, what they doing at this restaurant that's so different than the other restaurant?
it's
You get what I'm
easy.
saying? So
I got the answer. You want to know the answer?
lay it on there,
Please.
baby.
They made the steak. They cooked your food with love. If you're going to
Come on.
serve this community, you got to serve them with love. You got to. This we just can't get into the. We can't be robotic. We can't just not care about people. You know,
Right.
in this profession, you have to have a heart for the people. Now, the part two to that is there comes a time when we got to get dirty. All right. It ain't personal, but you got some people, you know, we fight the wicked. Okay. You have sheep and you have wolves. And in between the sheep and the wolves are the sheepdogs. And that's us. Okay. We can't treat the sheep like wolves, but we can't treat the wolves like sheep. That makes sense. We and that's where we get beat up at when we gotta handle the wolves a certain way. People get mad and they get your Facebook and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, you got people who have no concern for human life. They could care less about human life. And at the end of the day, when we have to do what we have to do, you got some officers who are scared and second guessing themselves and they're getting hurt because they're wondering, if I do this, am I going to get in trouble? Am I going to lose my job?
Right.
And that's a big point. We got to teach our people. We got to train our officers. I mean, this state has a lot of training. They are in a method of revamping some of our training. But I mean, want to be honest about it. Let's keep it real. It takes you longer to be a barber in the state of Mississippi than it does a police officer.
That's true.
Wow.
But
That's
you
true.
go in other states, it's 6 months, 5 months, 6 months at a time for you just to go to the academy, and the hours are up. You know, I mean, but let me tell you something else that a lot of people don't understand. You can say what you want about Mississippi, but Mississippi has some of the best officers and training around. We have people that come from other states to come here to see how we're doing certain things. When we had the different, think about it. When we had when this country was in an uproar over the deaths of black people by the hands of law enforcement, they had riots all across this state. We had peaceful riots here. Why? Because
Protest.
a lot of
Protest.
protests. Thank you. Protest. We have peaceful protests. Thank you for correcting me. And one of the reasons why is because some of these officers, a lot of these officers are building relationships in this community. We just got to build it from it.
Gotta build it. And
We
so
got to
what
build
I
it.
keep, I'm sorry, Chief. What I keep hearing everybody say, I'm reading the comments and I'm looking at the time and I'm saying, man, this
That's
was
a lot.
so packed tonight. But I'm hearing training. The Bible says, without a lack of for the lack of knowledge, we're going to perish. So that's if we don't have the training, if we don't have the education. I mean, whether it's in the home, whether it's in the department, we're going to fail. And so I think you that's the first answer. We have to train our people. But again, our people gonna have to want to receive the knowledge.
Absolutely.
Because I saw, and then I'll let y'all talk, but I saw two bricks. It was a meme. It was a brick and the water was coming down and the water was floating off the brick. But then there was a sponge and the water was coming down and the sponge was soaking it in. And I'm saying that to say so many people listen to respond versus listening to comprehend. And I think
Mm.
we're so defensive these days. Everybody's like, some people gonna look at this live and say, "Oh, she was talking about the police." No, she wasn't. She's concerned about her city, where she grew up, where she lived, and I just want to say thank you. We got to get you back on here. I'm not ending this, but I'm just going to sit back because my heart is so full. No, I'm telling you, Chief,
Uh,
we are a people that want help. And so I'll say this last statement and I'll be quiet. But one thing I know about a great leader, you have to be a great follower first. And so that's why I'm asking questions, because if you lead, sir, I'll follow. All I want is good solutions. I need to see some change in the community, not just Brookhaven, not just Columbus, but we're talking about the community of our people,
and,
and
and
that's
you
black and white,
and
and
I'm gonna be honest
Hispanic,
with you.
and whatever.
I know you've given me a lot of accolades, but there's a lot of things I still don't know. I call some of my big brothers who are chiefs, who've been in this thing a while. I got, and there's a couple of chiefs. I saw Chief Nunn on here a minute ago. You know, we're all like brothers because nobody really understands what you're going through as a chief, but another chief. So sometimes you got to bounce ideas off of dealing with personnel issues. How
I
do you
shall
deal with
try.
officers that are doing this? How can you change their mindset? How can you get them to be more proactive? We're doing a lot of this, but we have to start with, like you said, with training. We got to come up with some type of parenting program to help our young people, to get them to understand where we are and what we're doing. And we got to teach them to respect themselves.
Mhm.
We as a people used to be so prideful, but we've lost a lot of respect for ourselves. And I don't have the answer to how we can get it back started, but we're going to have to start somewhere. We got to get back in the schools. We got to start talking to these kids. We got to give them some hope. But the officers, we have to give them the training, give them the equipment rather that they need. Because at the end of the day, you give an officer a 9 millimeter handgun and he's responding to calls and they're shooting rifles. He's unarmed. I mean, he's out armed. At some point, you're going to have to step it up and get him the resources that he needs. You know, if an officer has to go to the police department to do a report, that means that that officer's coming out of his beat, his assigned area, and leaving that area unattended to go and do a report. And if he's 2 or 3 reports down, that officer could be there for maybe 2 hours. Okay, so now that beat is unattended for 2 hours. Just like recently, my council just approved for us to put computers in the cars. So now that the officer can stay in his beat. So if you got a problem at a local store, people hanging out, that officer could pull in that parking lot of that store and knock out his report. You knock it out right then and there. You know, there's a lot of things we got. That's right, Dixon. A lot of police departments that are understaffed are becoming reactive. We got to get the numbers up, but we got to learn how to be proactive in our communities. We got to. I mean, if not, we're fighting a losing battle.
And the reactions in the comments is a testament of how concerned people are all over about policing, about their safety, about how people are interacting, like you said, with law enforcement versus the community, and the disconnect that has grown over a period of time. And like you said, some places it's wonderful, it's working in harmony, and I'm sure people are kicking and screaming and crying about every time that some sort of change comes along. And a term that we get thrown around a lot is modern day policing. And every time I hear the term, it's used a different way. So that's going to be kind of my closing question. How would you label or how would you describe your version of what they call modern day policing? Because they like to throw it around a lot. And for people that's just the common folks like us, we need to know the nuance of what people are saying modern day policing is.
So what are they saying? What are some of the things people are telling you modern policing is?
Well, when we're talking about technology, like you said, when we're talking about computers, everybody will say, "Oh, we can crack these crimes. We can solve these crimes if we just had a computer." But like you said, we may be missing the training as well. Because what happens is, like you said, people will think you're trying to beat up on a department or you're trying to beat up on something else. When I go to Walmart, if the groceries is high, I'm gonna say I can't stay in Walmart. And so usually what people are saying is, I can't stand the police. But they're not talking about the police as a whole. They're talking about that problem officer that they had a problem with, but they say it as if they can't stand the police as a whole. So what I'm saying is that when you look at stuff like street cameras, when you look at stuff like technology, all these different things, when you say modern day policing, can you kind of encapsulate in any version that you can? I'm not constricting to anything. If you got any words that you can to describe this, so when we hear it, we're not so lost. You get what I'm saying? So when somebody say, "Oh man, we working on updating to get to this modern day policing," but what exactly does that mean? Because like you said, every time they say it in a different form. So it becomes like a running theme, and we just hearing we're like, what does that even mean? Is y'all gonna be Star Trek? Is y'all gonna be just, what does that mean to someone like yourself?
Well, first of all, I think to be realistic, I think we got to stop watching TV and think that what you see on TV is how it works. We've responded to burglaries in my career, and people have seen stuff on TV where they can get a fingerprint off a brick that's in mud. We can't do that. It just don't work that way. I mean, we need to be realistic. And I think that's the part that we talked about earlier about educating the community on how things work. Getting your department, modern policing, is giving them the resources and technology to do the job that's necessary. A lot of crimes nowadays are being solved on social media. You post it out there, "Hey, I'm looking for this person." Somebody gonna inbox you and tell you who that person is. And a lot of times you got to use, and see, this generation is very tech savvy. So I identify the men and women on my department who are tech savvy, who got that niche for certain things, and you got to find your officers' strengths. Once you find their strengths, you got to capitalize on them. You got to push them to their limit. I know you see this blue wall behind me. I got a couple officers that hate coming in here because they say I got to look at the blue wall. That's that. But I push them because I see something in them, and I want them to be the best. We have got to stop. And I'm speaking from a chief's perspective. We got to stop chiefing, worrying about how we going to chief and who's going to like us and stuff. We got to do it the right way. Chiefs across
That's
the board,
Mr. Nunn you was just speaking of.
necessary equipment funding. Yeah, that's Chief Nunn. He's absolutely correct. You got to go to your boards and ask for the funding to make sure that they can get what they need. Chief Nunn, perfect example. He's the chief in Verona. He's coming down here. We have a pistol range and teaching our guys doing a patrol rifle course. Well, he said, Chief, I got a couple of guys that need some training as well that I need to certify. Can I bring them? Absolutely. Bring your folks. Then he called some other agencies that's around him who have their people and have one or two people that can't afford to send them anywhere. He's bringing them. He's going to train them. We got to work together and use the resources that we have to get these people trained.
Go ahead, Xander, because I got to look.
So we're talking about networking, police networking, because that's what it is. You have to get together and as a police community and network to get the training that you need if you can't afford it. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. I do it all the time. I ain't got no problem calling, asking somebody to come help me do something. I've gone and taught classes, and in return, they've come to my department and taught classes. I don't have a problem with it. I think I'm one of the biggest networkers. If you ask some of these chiefs, I network my behind off trying to get stuff for different agencies. We do what we can.
You cut different, man.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I like to see, there are different grants, Homeland Security grants. Homeland Security is coming out now, and they're helping you with the grant. They're teaching you how. Office of Public Safety, Amisha, with an Office of Public Safety, she'll come out if you get 5 or 6 chiefs together, or even just one. Amisha will come out and she will teach you how and talk to you about the grant opportunities that are out there, that you can buy equipment, that you can buy. Some of them even pay overtime budgets for.
Wait. So, Mr. Dixon, what's the deadline for what? I missed.
I know.
April 1st.
Is that Dixon? That's for the Homeland Security grant. April 1st is the deadline.
Homeland Security grant. Okay. So, man, we learning so much right now, man. It's crazy.
Can we bring you back? Because we want to respect your time. We know that you're busy. And we ain't gonna hold we promised you an hour. And so I just want to know when you come back.
I cleared my schedule for you. I'm off right now. I'm with y'all. So
okay, we can let it run on till you say stop. We'll let it run a little while longer, cause we got at least 10 minutes. Okay, we'll run 10 more minutes, man, until we stop. And so we getting grants. Okay, one of our aldermen said they do have grants. Look, Reggie say you got all the time in the world, man. Reggie say you got all the time in the world. I had to minimize some of the comments because they were so
long, and we have
full. They were so full, man. I had to pack it down a little bit.
So
again,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, I'll ask Keith, when you're done, if you want, when we're done, there are a lot of lengthy comments in there, and so if you want to address them, please feel free to address them.
Can we do that a little bit right now then? Jarvis, can you read some of the comments so we can
scroll back.
Let's do that because we've been talking.
Let's see. We have Evelyn says, Chief Daughtry, you have a job on your hands, but I know how you were raised by your mother with moral standards and values. That's from Miss Evelyn Pope.
That's my Aunt Evelyn in New Orleans.
Hey, Aunt Evelyn.
Got you.
Jarvis, you got to go on up like 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Let me go backwards. Scroll back some more. Man, we got all type of comments today.
We do.
Thank you, Chief.
I'm gonna make them a little bigger so we can kind of read them a little easier.
So I mean, I'm gonna ask Chief the next time he comes on, please bring one of your fellow brothers with you. We're gonna let you pick. We'll let you pick who you want to bring.
Okay.
And we can make this.
You want from my department or from another department?
Man, wherever you pick.
However you want to.
Wherever you pick. Anybody that's willing to come on, man, we man,
I
listen.
would like to see Mr. Dixon. I would like to see Chief Nunn. I want some of these people. I want the fire chief. I like
Yeah,
everybody because we have enough room to put 10 people. But I know
yeah.
that would be like Supac. I don't even know how we would do that, but we'll talk about it. But let's read Kathy Walker. I'm a kindergarten teacher, and some of my students are growing up with the wrong people because the parents are so young. That's true. We agree.
Yeah.
Next one, Jarvis.
Let's see.
This is Lillian. Teaching, training, and learning should never end. Just as we teach the young, we need to educate our adults. We do agree.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, this is Mr. Nunn. He gave us some a while ago.
Okay, did we
Let's
read
see.
this one already? We can give our officers all the training in the world because training is out there and available. But we as African American people need to educate our young parents on how to act with police. This problem starts at home. Yes,
I
sir.
agree. Agree.
Yes,
It
sir.
does.
Yes, Chief Nunn.
And here go my wife talking about we got to eat at this house. Look, see how these man, you see how your folks do you.
But you know,
It'd be
uh,
young people.
you got to realize we're not
Dixon
perfect.
say he work for cheesecake. Zan the
Now,
cook.
now
We
I
got
tell you what,
Dale.
if you want to get
Shell.
Chief Dixon on here, give him a piece of cheesecake. He'll be
I
on
got
there.
you.
He
Hey,
loves some cheesecake.
Dixon, I don't know if she's still here, but Miss Dale Gray, she don't say she's a chef. She's a food
The
stylist. She'll be
food
on at the last of April. When you come here for that one, man, go check out her book. She got a book out, all that. So we got a couple chefs
Drop your
on here.
address and we'll send you some cheesecake.
Yeah, we might have to
Yes,
put you
most
something in the mail,
definitely.
bro.
Most definitely.
Boy, y'all done made his day.
Make sure don't wait, hold on. Don't drop it in the comments. Go to Who's Truth Messenger
Not your
page
address. Yeah,
and
don't put
drop
your address down there.
and
I'm
drop
sure
your address.
I'm sure he's smart. He knows it.
Now, and you know what's one thing that I've seen across, and Chief Nunn and I had this conversation. I'm reading his thing. Every year we have over 300 and what 90 maybe police chiefs in the state, and we're averaging anywhere between about 10%, 10 to 12% every year turnaround. The average life expectancy of a police chief in the state of Mississippi is about 18 months. You
Mm.
know, by the time you bump heads and try to get some things done, uh, now y'all want some gumbo? Lakeith can make some
Oh,
gumbo,
look at
but
her. Dale said she got my whole cheesecake, baby.
He said a whole cheesecake.
She said
but
she
you
got a
know,
whole
well, Miss Gray,
cheesecake.
I want one too. But anyway, uh, at the end of the day, we have got to make some provisions and some educational opportunities because when we have young leaders coming up in this department, we got to take the opportunity to groom them. We got to take the opportunity to train them, and we got to take the opportunity to teach them because they are the future of this department. You know, we got to love our children. You know, we got to teach our children. And, you know, I said it before, and I'm going to keep saying it because I need somebody to hear this. The African proverb that made me look a little different is that a child that is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. I'm telling y'all, if you let that resonate in your spirit, it will convict you about dealing with our children. Some of these kids just want a hug. Do you know some of these kids, the only food they get is at lunchtime at school? Do you know some of these kids, when I was a school resource officer, I used to grab kids in the headlock, boy, pull your pants up. And I had one kid, I looked in the mirror and I saw him coming. They said, "There go Officer Daughtry, Officer Daughtry." And I saw him in the mirror take his shirt tail out. And I didn't understand that. And I was trying to figure out, why would he take his shirt tail out? Until a teacher told me he wanted that head. He wanted me to grab him in the headlock and give him a nugget and tell him to put his shirt tail in. He just wanted that attention.
My God.
We've got to educate these kids. Every child is not built to go to college. They're not. Then but who's to say they can't be a welder? Who's to say they can't be a plumber? Who's to say they can't be an electrician? Who's to say they can't be a truck driver? Who's to say they can't be a store manager? You know, everybody's just not college material. But we got to find our kids and give them. The kids we deal with, if you pull them over and go through their phone, they making beats with their phone. Sound like it's studio quality. Listen to, look at some of the work that these guys put into their cars. You think, well, God, who painted that car for you? I did. Some of these kids are very, very talented. We got to capture that talent and push them to their full potential. But I know next time, let me know about our children driving under the influence and how I can help them. See, Lakeith is a DUI guy. So if you have, like, when you get closer to prom season, or you want to talk about teen drinking and driving, I mean, he'll be a perfect person to get on there and talk about it.
Look, we gonna get Lakeith out here because
Send us your
another thing.
information if you don't mind in our
Yes, send some
DM.
information because we got something to talk about.
I
I got a
you.
lot of clients. I got a lot of clients, man, that don't realize that these edibles is a felony when you get caught riding in the car with them, and they get locked up for possession of a controlled substance and they can't understand it. So we can get Lakeith on here, man. He could probably really get into some of what's going on out here.
Well, but again, I want to thank you guys for your opportunity. I know there are a lot of other people that you could have picked. I'm humbled by the opportunity. Jennifer, you know, I love you like my own sister. You know, we like real family, you know, and I thank you for this opportunity. I want you guys to continue to keep doing what you're doing. But what I don't want you to do is change your platform or stop trying to help. Because I'm going to tell you, the worst thing you can do is to get people that won't help and get them coming and listening and trying, and then you cut them off. You know, when I deal with my community, I tell people, if we're going to do something for the kids, we're not going to do it just for you to get your accolades, and then a week later you're done with them.
Consistency.
You gotta be committed to this because we're not going to change it overnight. But we have to do it together as a people. I know it's not a black or white thing, but I'm black. Okay. At one point, we were the most proudest people there were. We wore suits. We wore this. We wore that. And to see some of my young ladies now go out to the store with bonnets on and pajamas on, and to see our young men with their pants to where you see their underwear, you know, I mean, it's disrespectful. But at some point, we're going to have to tell them it's disrespectful. We're going to have to teach them that it's okay to dress up. It's okay to look presentable, you know. But yes, ma'am, with consistency. We got to be consistent with it.
Right. So we are truly grateful to have you on here tonight. I mean, man, I wish we would have we gonna do a part 2, so that's all. That's okay.
Yeah, we got it all set up.
Please,
I feel like Cat Williams. I'm gonna take a sip.
It's okay. So
Hey, listen, you done told so much truth, it might go viral.
Well,
yeah, for our first time followers, please go ahead and follow us so that you can get more information like this, and that you're so in tune and you are you know, that we know what you're asking us to bring on. We don't know if you don't ask us. It says closed mouths get fed. So if you want more information on any subject, please drop it to us and let us know so that we know who to bring on to help your community and who to bring on to enlighten you, encourage you, so that we can get our people back on track. So that's my closing for tonight. Thank you, Pastor. Oh, wait. Thank you.
You right. It's in it. Go, Bob.
Thank you, Chief, for your diligence and your time. Well spoken.
Thank you, Pastor Jordan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jordan's
coming on too. Yeah. We're ready. We're ready.
I got you.
Well, the third closer, Pastor Jordan. Thank you. He listen. He's a hero to me. Thank you for all that you do in our community. But Chief Daughtry, my heart is full, and yeah. I thank you.
We're gonna get out of here before they
God's
start.
protection over your life. Continue to do what you're doing. Continue to be great, and I just look forward to your future because I know that there's so much greatness coming out of it. So again, thank you with everything in me. And Jarvis, you can close out next week. Let me say this before you close, Jarvis.
Yeah.
Next
Give us
week,
next week.
Next month starts Counselors Month. And so we're going to be talking about the importance of mental health, the importance of counseling. And so
Give them the
we'll
lineup
have
again.
okay, on April the 2nd, we'll have Alexia Irvin. April the 9th, Dr. Samantha Murphy. April 16th, LaQuanta Nicole, the boss educator. April 23rd, we'll have Pastor Mickey King. And April 30th, we'll have Dale Grace. She'll close us out. She's an author and food stylist.
There we go, man. So look, man, we welcome you, man. You're welcome for coming. We so thankful for you coming. Anything, if you need us for anything, reach out. If you need to get any type of word out, hit us up. We just grateful for you coming. So we're gonna go for they start jingling their Facebook keys
Yeah,
like
they
we at
drinking
church.
their kids.
Yeah, they jingling them Facebook keys. They Pastor time to close up, so we're gonna go and get out of here.
They grabbed their pocketbooks.
Yeah,
done
they done
grabbed
got
their
their stuff.
pocketbook.
Yeah, they
Should've
said the
said the
preacher
third
lost their
closing.
mind. Yeah.
All
All
right.
right, man.
Good
Hey,
night,
All right.
everybody.
Hey, before you go, Sheriff Travis Patton just got on too. He'll be another excellent person for you to get on here. Sheriff Patton is right now has been fighting for us to get what they call a state supplemental pay to try to help keep officers here in the state of Mississippi, where the state will supplement their pay. He's been pushing for that. You have so many strong leaders in law enforcement around this state, and you will be surprised that just go unheard, and you guys would be surprised. You really would. But I thank you for the opportunity. Anything I can do to help you, if I need to put you in contact with somebody else, I'm welcome to it. Just please don't y'all stop, and y'all keep letting God use you.
Man, appreciate y'all. Bye, y'all.